changing these objects. And during that time, if anyone else go in and edit the same objects, you will come up in a mess. And in GIS systems, you sometimes see the term long transactions. This means that the database systems have been adding with some special tools for handling this transaction that might take actually days. I mean, you can work with the data in days. And it's also one reason for some companies, they advert that they have good way of handling long transactions. And we will not go in a bit with this in geodatabase. I think we will discuss this particular subject.
But all these concurrency problems can be solved if you use the transaction model and the ACID model, that is.
Yep.
In detail, you can sometimes you just lock up the table if you want to make an exclusive lock. Like, I take this table and I'll lock it, nobody else can make any request and so on to this until I'm finished with my transaction. That's one way of solving it. And finally, some information about what kind of software we can use as a database. Well, there are a lot of different types of database on the market. Some of them are commercial, some of them are quite expensive, and some of them not so expensive. And then we have the open source databases, which are free. And which one to use? Well, it depends on the organization that you're in at the moment. What kind of technical skill you have, what kind of money resources and so on, what you want to do with a database, basically.
Yeah. And also, I mean, how many users? I mean, will there be just a single user system or will many people use the same database?
There are many factors that will have to be taken into account before you choose a database. Sadly, different databases do not exactly work the same, even though we have a standard. We have a standard that says the SQL language should be in this way, But the database vendors does not follow this to the letters. They all have some minor variations on the SQL language. So that's something that you have to take into account when you choose the database.
So we now see some example of databases.
Yeah. First we have the DB2. It's EBM that creates this database. It runs on Windows, Unix, and Linux. The DB2 database is mainly used in large corporations, and it can be spatially enabled through the DB2 spatial extender.
So that means that strictly, if you have a standard relational database, this type of database can handle text, numerical data, and
binary data.
But it cannot handle geometry, really.
No, the
geometry is way tricky to handle, you could say. So you have you can have some extensions to the database systems.
Exactly.
Like this DB2 spatial extender.
Yeah. That's one example. And here's the MySQL database, which is an open source, but it's developed by actually a Swedish company, MySQL AB. It's also for free, as it's an open source. For large corporations that want some support, they have to pay a fee. It runs on most platforms, just about any you can imagine. MySQL is known for its high performance. It's usually said to be the fastest database available, or relational database rather. Some of this is due to its lack of some features. It doesn't have all the features of the larger databases. And that's one reason why it's so fast.
That's a normal thing. You have on two sides the functionality and the speed. And you cannot have both normally.
And also MySQL can handle spatial data. The Oracle, which is created by the Oracle Corporation, it runs on most platforms. Oracle was actually the first company that created a relational database in the 70s. And since then, it's been the main player for large corporations or the commercial sector. And Oracle can also be spatially enabled through Oracle Spatial. It's an add-on software for the database.
Yeah. Oracle, I mean, think that it's a very common database.
Then we have the PostgreSQL. It's an open source database which you can use on Windows, Unix, and Linux. Of all the open source databases, PostgreSQL is probably the one which has the most features. It has all the transactions and the advanced operations that you can use in a database.